know what I'm saying? No, they was highly offended. They was highly offended, but at the same time, they capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they knew. You know, my cousin. Controversy sells.
Yeah.
And you know, my cousin, he been kind of, I don't want to say initiating beefs, but you know, some shit. If it's some shit that remotely involves him or he got any type of connection to the situation, he gonna go full throttle.
And on top of that, I even admit to that. Uh, I've never heard not one of his songs before, but I know exactly who he is, and I know he's a rapper. I know his beefs. I know his all this shit.
Yeah.
But then I recognize what happened with y'all. That's your peoples.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I had already knew who he was, but only off of street shit. That internet street shit. I heard it, and I didn't get it through Chicago. I got it through Vlad TV.
Yeah, Vlad. Yeah,
I got it
yeah,
through some other from California, from New York, and it came back to me through the internet because that's where it came from. And it's like, okay, I can't knock him because he has placed himself. Kevin Gates did the same thing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew Kevin Gates way before I knew his music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was looking at his interviews like, this dude right here is crazy, and smart at the same time. I ain't figured out which one. You crazy? You kind of smart. Nah, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? You confusing me, so I'm gonna keep listening because you confusing the shit out of me. Then I realized, oh, you confusing me on purpose. You do it. That's your thing. You confusing me on purpose. And then you happen to have come with songs that was catchy, get spins, now it's in my head. So he played it. Somebody like Kevin Gates played that internet thing to the T.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, whatever case, you know. And I can see that somebody could come behind and do the same thing. I'm not mad at that. Right. I'm not mad at that. In Chicago, that.
Yeah, see, it's you walking a fine line.
Yeah.
Like he could do, you know, Kevin Gates could do that shit in Baton Rouge. I mean, you know, not to say, I mean, I know Louisiana, everybody, you know, talk about New Orleans, murder capital, this, that, and the third, all well with that, but we all know, you know, Chicago is a different animal. You know, these people, these shorties especially, they have no conscience, no regard for life whatsoever. And you know, cuz with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank. And you know, I ain't gonna, you know, especially whether it's being projected on a podcast or just candid conversation off the record. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no bitch in him.
Yeah, okay.
You know, he cut from that cloth. You know, for what he come up under. You know what I'm saying? I know what he come up under. You feel me? I babysitted him as an infant. You feel me? Changed his diapers and shit. So I know what he cut from. But you know, because of that, we able to have those conversations where I can get in his ass a little bit and say, "Cuz, that ain't what's up." You know, and then especially after the incident, you know, when we got shot up, you dig. The aftermath for that, I didn't agree with the publicity that it got, how it went viral, and then it turned into some other shit, and it kind of got sensationalized.
Let's ask that question then. How did it go viral?
The director, he had that shit out that night. The next day, within 24 hours, it was out. Before the actual video.
Right. I've never seen the video. I saw the video.
I posted a snippet of the video. Yeah. But he had the footage of the shooting before the damn video.
So it's promotion at this point.
Yeah, and dude did it without
Then I saw it on World Star.
Yeah, it hit World
Niggas
Star.
Is dying to get to World Star.
Yeah, it hit World Star.
I know dudes is like
hours.
really trying their hardest to get to on World Star.
Yeah, and
just like
I
that,
can say
some negative shit.
Just blow the fuck up. And cuz dude contacted cuz after he had already put those wheels in motion, as far as the director. And of course, you know, he co-signed on the shit because, like you say, he the type that's gonna capitalize off that type of situation. And for me, you know, I had some real personal feelings about that.
You gotta go home with an explanation.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, like that, you know, that I ain't gonna put on the air, you know what I'm saying, the conversation I had about that, but how I felt is like, man, okay, it's one thing when you wrapped up like you was talking about earlier, if a motherfucker's still in the streets and you living that kind of lifestyle, and you know, pretty much what's coming to you, you gotta be prepared for that, and it is what it is, it's par for the course. But when you completely beyond that type of life and you know, everything, your whole involvement in that type of lifestyle is memories at this point, and talking about what was and what we used to be on, you know. For me to just try to go lend my support to a family member and be a part of his move, and really the whole thing was just really trying to feel that spirit, you know what I'm saying, and kind of like coming to the realization that it ain't my album as far as the music go. You know, if my shit blow up or break, you know, that's gonna be a fucking miracle, because you know it's a different breed that's running things right now, and I'm not gonna conform. You know, so I accept that reality. I'm just really trying to find a niche and work my niche. But to go support that type of demo, and then at the end of that shit, and then the message that was being portrayed was actually a positive message. And how the fuck I get in the middle of this jam and I end up getting shot? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't cool. You draw? That ain't well. That ain't nothing that I'm gonna glorify or feel like that earned me some type of stripes, you know what I'm saying? Because all I could think about is the look on my fucking daughter's face is coming up to the hospital. Then the tears, you know, and even though I was highly blessed, we all was, you know what I'm saying? 10, 12 brothers on location with one sister, and motherfuckers let off a whole clip, and you know what I'm saying? Me and Cuz only one got hit. Didn't nobody get changed. Didn't nobody catch no real serious injuries. You know, God was with us that day. But I'd be damned if that's me at the forefront of the situation, that I'm gonna exploit that for some type of, you know,
and I think some people may have
some shit.
And even you know, going back to the social media side of it, I even as it's being posted, so from the outside looking in, you have your peers seeing you, and we don't know if it's promotion or it's, you know what I'm saying? I can see your struggle in it, because I don't want to look like I'm trying to promote this. You know what I'm saying? But and then we looking like, is he promoting it? Is he trying? Is it because we do know these cats. It is great to them. Look here, I got man, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Little wound,
on some 50 cent pop type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I though. You know what I'm saying? Niggas get shot every day, B. I'm finna fuck around, get out here, and drop it. You know what I'm saying?
and know, like, them the dumbest motherfuckers not in captivity.
You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing fly, ain't nothing cool about getting fucking shot. Period. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing for me. You know, I had reservations about publicizing it on my own accord, but at the end of the day, I've always felt like, you know, from my earlier trials and tribulations, if my life got to be testimony, be it good or bad, whatever people take from it, I owe it to society to project it. I owe it to people that really have a relationship with me on any level. I owe it to them to you know, give my testimony, because my whole life has been filled with what you should do and what you shouldn't do. You know, I always say I'm a walking contradiction, you know, as we all are. Mine might be a little more extreme than others, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that know me in one aspect of life, and they could never fathom that I would be involved in something like this, and vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So for them people, I really like to show the duality of my life, because I feel like I'm the perfect example of what nature is, you know. Our whole existence is based on the concept of duality, you know. There's no good without evil. There's no night without day. There's no male without female. There's no on without off. You know what I'm saying? Everything has to have a contrasting concept. Everything. You feel me? So if my life can exemplify that, then why not put that out there to give people a better understanding? You know what I'm saying? And then especially, I know I got a lot of young minds that come up under me. You know, for one, I'm raising children. I can't even call them children no more, because I got a bunch of teenagers. You know, in this calendar year, I'm gonna have the 18-year-old, the 16-year-old, the 15-year-old, and the 14-year-old, and they all got different moms, and they all came into the world under different circumstances. And I never made a home with any of their mothers. You know, so if for nobody else, for them, they need to know, like I need to demonstrate that transparency to them. This is what my life has been. This is the mistakes that I made. This is why I've had to struggle so hard and overcome so many obstacles that I put in my own life when I had all the potential in the world. You know, when they listening to the family members, the cousins and the aunties, and they're like, oh, Dante was the smartest kid. He was a genius. He was the valedictorian. You know, I went from valedictorian to a felon within 2 years. By the time I was getting my driver's license, I was already a convicted felon for a violent gun crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my children need to know that. You know, my younger cousins need to know that. They need to know
is it possible,
everything that I've been through.
With the world that we live in,
you know what I'm saying, period.
Is it possible to sway them with our conversations when they have so much access?
Not fully, no.
This
right.
internet
is
raising them. That social media
right.
is raising them.
So
we can try, because it's almost like we try to enact what we learned. Our parents had the opportunity. We looked at our parents. We get to, like I had this theory, this circle theory that one day I might put out there.
Right.
It's basically a circle of life thing. But in our circle of life, we get to this point where we recognize our parents' faults.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're not. I wonder, does that mean, is that when you're grown all of a sudden? When you get to a point where you can actually, and not just childishly, immaturely, you actually recognize your parents' faults.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that generation did a better job.
But they gone, right? They did a better job. But then you get to a point where you lived enough life to be like, nah, pops is wrong, mom's is wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And then you say, okay, I'm gonna do this instead, right? I'm gonna do this instead. But now you're trying to do this instead in a new era.